Hello and welcome to TV360 News Now. I am Deji Badimasi. Nigeria has confirmed a fresh Ebola case in the country, bringing the total number of reported cases in Africa's most populous country to 10. Nigeria's Health Minister Onyebuchichukwu says the new case is one of the nurses who treated the American Liberian Patrick Sawyer, who died of the virus late July.
It has been 22 days since EVD first landed in Nigeria. As of today, 177 primary and secondary contacts of the index case have been placed under surveillance or isolation. 9 developed Ebola virus disease, bringing the total number of cases in Nigeria to 10. Of these 10, 2 have died, that is, the Liberian American and the Nigerian nurse, while 8 are alive and currently on treatment. The 10th case actually was one of the nurses who also had a primary contact with our index case. So it was one of the nurses who had primary contact, and when he got ill, we then brought her into isolation, and we just tested her over the weekend, and she tested positive. So that's what made it 10 since the last conference on Friday. So between Friday and today, we had one additional case. So that brings it to 10. And of course, the 10 includes the index case. It also includes the nurse, the only Nigerian so far who has died from the disease.
Now, the minister also said the 177 people, both primary and secondary contacts of the index case, have been placed under surveillance or isolation. Among them is the husband of the nurse who recently tested positive to the virus. Chukwu also confirmed that the infection of the virus had so far been restricted to Lagos, as it had not spread to other parts of the country. Now, President Goodluck Jonathan has described the actions of the late Liberian who brought the Ebola virus into the country as pure, in his word, madness and craziness. Speaking at the annual Interfaith Conference in Abuja Monday, the president, who expressed disappointment at the late Patrick Sawyer's action, assured citizens that his government is ready to stop Ebola from spreading. He also said the federal government planned to rally the 36 state governors and health commissioners to sensitize them on the dangers of the Ebola virus, which has killed more than 1,000 persons in the West African sub-region. The president also urged Nigerians to avoid panic and remain alert to check for the spread of the Ebola virus in the country, saying that his government had put in place measures and facilities for detection and management of the disease. Now, Lagos State Governor Babatunde Fashola has said the Ebola virus disease is not a death sentence, but a disease which could be put under proper check with the right precautionary measures. Fashola was speaking during an inspection tour of the isolation center at the Mainland Hospital in the Yaba area of Lagos, where those infected by the virus are being treated. He said the government was putting everything in place to contain the virus and advised people of the state to report any suspected case to hospitals for proper action.
The Ebola virus in itself, as devastating as its consequences can be, is not an automatic death sentence. The consequences of death depend on what we do and what we do not do. There are already reported cases of patients who are recovering in other parts of West Africa. So it's catching it early, being able to respond to it appropriately, and knowing that also taking precautions. That's why you see we didn't go into where the patients are, because there's a very strict protocol for going in there. So if you are going in there, you must wear a fully protected gown. In the place where we are expanding to ensure that we're able to cope with anything that comes out, you will see the showers there. People have to go through a protocol, one way in, one way out. Those who are detoxifying and decontaminating don't go in, they're waiting outside. Those who go in. So it's a very rigorous protocol set up with advice from the Center for Disease Control, and then people who are not critically ill and stuff, where they go, how we are going to be disposing of their refuse and their waste the provisions have already been made there so that we can separate very critically ill people from people who are just showing symptoms or who need to be in isolation. It is important, therefore, that those who contact it or who suspect that they have contacted it or have had contact with somebody who contacted it, do not make further contact with any member of their family. They must call the helplines that we have put in place. They must come here and come and take help.
Now, Ivory Coast has joined the growing number of countries banning flights from any of the Ebola hotspots in the continent. The government Monday said it had banned all flights from countries hit by Ebola as part of steps to prevent the deadly virus from reaching its nation. It says it has forbidden all carriers from transporting passengers from countries affected by the Ebola outbreak. Even though it did not name or specify countries affected by the ban, nearly 1,000 people have died from Ebola in Liberia, Sierra Leone, Guinea and Nigeria, which are all in West Africa. The government also said it had decided to suspend flights by its national airline Air Côte d'Ivoire to and from those locations until further notice. No case of Ebola has been reported in Ivory Coast, which began implementing preventive measures to curb the spread of the disease since March. Still on Ebola, the World Health Organization says it is discussing the possible use of experimental drugs to treat the Ebola virus. No vaccine or cure has been developed up till date for the treatment of the virus, prompting the WHO to ask medical ethics experts about the use of experimental treatments to curb the virus. The health of 2 American doctors infected with the virus in Liberia improved after they were given an experimental drug called the ZMapp. But U.S. President Barack Obama has said it is still premature to send the unapproved experimental drug for the treatment of Ebola to West Africa. The latest figures put the death toll at nearly 1,000 people in 4 West African countries this year alone. Following the increase in cases of the Ebola virus, the WHO declared the epidemic in West Africa an international health emergency, adding that the current outbreak is the most severe in the almost 40-year history. Almost 40 years actually since the Ebola virus was detected in humans. Now, the West African Examination Council, WAEC, has released the result for its May-June 2014 West African Senior School Certificate Examination, and it says it recorded a massive failure, especially in English and mathematics. Announcing the results released Monday at its office in Lagos, WAEC's head of National Office, Charles Eguridu, said a total of 529,425 candidates, that's representing 31.28%, obtained credits in 5 subjects and above, including English language and mathematics. He, however, noted that when compared to the 2012 and 2013 May-June WAEC exam, there was marginal decline in the performance of candidates, as 38.81% was recorded in 2012 and 36.57% in 2013. Egoridu also disclosed that the result of 145,795 candidates, representing 8.61%, have been withheld in connection with various types of examination malpractice. The chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, Ibrahim Lamrode, has declared that women's involvement in organized financial crime in the country was relatively low compared to that of men. Lamrode disclosed this in Abuja while speaking at the Anti-Corruption Sensitization Forum for Women, Civil Society and Community-Based Groups in the North Central Zone. Represented by EFCC's Director of Planning and Statistics, Dr. David Tukura, he stated that research showed that fewer women compared to men were involved in fraudulent practices in the country. Lamrode explained that although corruption was deeply entrenched in Nigerian society, the power to change rests in the hands of the people. He says the forum was one of the ways to encourage citizens to take ownership in the war against corruption. The Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry has expressed concern over the proposal by the federal government to privatize the Bank of Industry and Bank of Agriculture, which are major development finance institutions, DFIs, in Nigeria. LCCI, that's the Chamber of Commerce, in a communique condemned the proposed plan, stating that the primary purpose for the establishment of both institutions will be compromised if privatized. The Chamber also warned that a privatized entity would not be able to support the growth and development of the real sector and infrastructure in the economy, which entails the provision of subsidized long-term affordable finance to investors in this sector. It, however, urged the government to improve on the capitalization of the DFIs and create a framework that would allow for an independent and professional management of both institutions rather than privatize them. Well, let's just hope the BOI is not privatized. Nigeria and the United States have commenced plans to leverage on President Barack Obama's $14 billion investment pledge in Africa for an effective financing structure for infrastructure in Nigeria. Olusegun Ogaga, the Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, and the U.S. Commerce Secretary, Penny Pritzker, made the announcement during a bilateral meeting at the just concluded U.S.-Africa Summit. Ogaga, while addressing newsmen in Washington, D.C. during the summit, said aside from the investment commitment and the Memorandum of Understanding, most investors agreed that Nigeria had the most robust, clear and friendly policies on power, which he urged other African countries to emulate. While the two countries agreed to work on the financial structure for infrastructure within the next few weeks, Pritzker noted that U.S. companies were eager to do business in Nigeria due to the ongoing reforms in critical sectors. He added that such partnership would lead to an interest in all sectors of the Nigerian economy, including power, real sector, and agro-industrial sectors. Iraq's president has asked the Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Haidar al-Abadi, to form a new government to replace embattled Prime Minister Nouri Maliki. President Fuad Massoum said in a TV address that he hoped Abadi would succeed in forming a government that would protect the Iraqi people. Abadi was nominated as Prime Minister by Shia parties instead of the incumbent Maliki, as the country faces a growing jihadist insurgency. He actually made it clear that he wants to stand, that's Maliki now made it clear he wants to stand for a third term, but his popularity has suffered from the growing Islamist insurgency in the north, and even before this, his support from Sunnis and Kurds was dwindling. Now he has lost support from his own Shias, with the Shia National Alliance reported to have supported Abadi with 130 votes compared to just 40 votes for Maliki. Meanwhile, the jihadist insurgency in the north of Iraq continues to cause serious international concerns. Riots have erupted in the United States state of Missouri over the killing of an unarmed black teenager by a police officer. 18-year-old Michael Brown was shot dead on Saturday by a police officer in Ferguson, Missouri, a mainly black suburb of the city. Police say the teenager was shot several times after a struggle in a police car with the officer. Although some details still remain sketchy on what may have caused the struggle, Michael, who had just graduated from high school and hoped to begin college in the fall, was on his way to his grandmother's house when he was shot. It's still unclear why the policeman opened fire, but eyewitnesses say Michael was unarmed and his hands up in the air when he was shot after an argument between Michael and the policeman. On Monday, dozens of residents marched through the streets demanding justice. Authorities say the officer involved has been with the Ferguson Police Department for 6 years and has been placed on paid administrative leave. The killing has drawn comparisons by some civil rights leaders with the 2012 killing of 17-year-old Trayvon Martin by Judge Zimmerman, a Florida Neighborhood Watch organizer who was acquitted of the murder charges. Some sports now. Germany striker Miroslav Klose has retired from international football at the age of 36. The footballer, who became the all-time top scorer at the 2014 World Cup, confirmed his retirement from the national team with a statement saying that he feels he has reached the pinnacle of his career. Klose made his debut for Germany in March 2001 against Albania and went to make 137 appearances for his country, scoring a record 71 goals. He also holds the record for most World Cup goals, surpassing Brazilian legend Ronaldo with 16 goals. The Polish-born striker has featured in 4 consecutive World Cups and 3 European Championships. He played a key role actually at the 2014 World Cup in Brazil by scoring in the 2-2 draw with Ghana and in the 7-1 defeat of host nation Brazil. Celtic Football Club has rejected Legia Warsaw plea to have their Champions League playoff tie replayed. Celtic was reinstated to the Champions League after Legia Warsaw was kicked out of the competition for fielding an ineligible player. Legia won the third qualifying round tie 6-1 in aggregate, but brought on Bartosz Berezinski in the second leg while he was supposed to be suspended. As a result, Celtic were handed a 3-0 walkover win for the second leg, taking them through on away goals. Obviously not willing to let go of their Champions League sport, the Polish side has called on the Scottish champions to agree to a rematch. And while Friday's draw went ahead, was Celtic paired against Maribor in the Champions League playoff, while Legia was dropped in the Europa League. Well, that's it on News Now. We thank you very much for watching. I am Deji Badimasi. We're back again tomorrow. See you then.